Hey guys, what is up? NYKF31 here. Well, I couldn't resist. Against my better judgment, I just had to go into Mutt Draft and see how these zones would play out in a head to head environment. I mean, you gotta shake off the head to head rust at some point. Might as well get out of the way early, I suppose. For me, I haven't played a human opponent in months and months and months, so had to get back on the horse. And truth be told, I was really sloppy. Not my cleanest game in the world, but it got the cobwebs out. It's like riding a bike. Might be a little bit wobbly at first if you haven't done it in a while, but after a few moments, you got your bearings again. I'm in the Bengals playbook for this round, both on offense and in defense. I've probably used, I would say, how many playbooks so far? I want to say maybe 8, and by far this is the worst one. It's the early contender when I do my playbook rankings. It's a leader in the clubhouse early for one of the worst in the game. It's got that. It's got a couple of monster sets, as you saw one of them. And trust me, guys, monster is not as scary as it looks. You have to shift your D line in order to get some numbers back into the box. You got to pinch it rather. I'll demonstrate that later on. But anyhow, my rhythm started out pretty good, and you saw Theo Riddick pop some nice runs, and that's probably one of my favorite things about the game so far. A bat like Theo Riddick you can actually use. Last year, he was worthless. Even if you have, or even if you had an elite shifty back in last year, like LaShawn McCoy, Lamar Miller, Jamal Charles, very tough to A, get them into space, and B, do anything with them when you got them into space. So it was power back and battle ready back heaven in Madden 17. Now you can use power backs and the shifty backs. But I threw an INT there on that play action screen. I had a delay when I was trying to throw the ball, and by the time the button press registered, someone was able to knife through and pick the ball off. And here on defense, we're into this silliness already. My corners on the outside, they're Malcolm Butler and Ross Cockrell. They're zone coverage corners, and plus they're kind of slow, so it's tough to do anything really outrageously exotic with guys who don't really have a lot of quicks on the outside. So I'm playing kind of safe here to begin with. I'll throw some stock blitzes in there, here and there, but I have to spy Tyrod. My defensive tackle there is Fletcher Cox. I send him. He throws late over the middle. My safety is there, and Desmond King INTs it. I was just in a cover 3 sky there, and he tried to chuck it, and my safety actually broke on it. He broke, and the throw was so late that he had no choice but to break on it. So I'm back on offense, and I stayed in the shotgun exclusively in this game with Tyrod Taylor and Theo Riddick out there to go along with Antonio Brown, Travis Kelsey, Cole Beasley, and Jordy Nelson. I didn't really see the point of ever taking those guys off the field. Plus, I had a good offensive lineman draft, so I figured, okay, stay in the gun and run some spread stuff, run some inside zone, run some outside zone, maybe pop a zone read in there. The Bengals have a couple of zone read plays there, and you see me get sacked, just falling asleep at the wheel. And I have to, settle for 3, so he's back on offense. I was a little bit slow to react to the slip screen. I saw it, but again, not like Madden 17, where you can just, if you're late, you can just go, and it really doesn't matter too much. He who hesitates is lost, and that's again one of those things that you just have to get used to. My defensive line, I have DeForest Buckner and Fletcher Cox at defensive tackle. Jadeveon Clowney is at left defensive end. My linebackers, Mark Barron and Justin Houston. I occasionally drop Justin Houston down at the other defensive end spot in the dime. His zone coverage was actually higher than I thought it was going to be, so I have him in space, more than on the D line. So my right defensive end is kind of weak, just a stock roster defensive end. Again, here I spy Fletcher Cox, and Tyrod Taylor outruns him, which is actually a positive. Speed thresholds are better. Last year, I'm able to get away with that, but I'm going to have to sacrifice Clowney and Houston when they're on the down line and have them spy or contain, one of the two. So he goes up 7-3, but it's no big deal. I know I'm not going to lose to this guy. When you're in those games, and even though the guy may score early, he can't beat you. That's how I feel about him. He belly flopped on a user tackle attempt, and I was able to get a catch and run with Kelsey and get into field goal range. Clowney just decapitates Le'Veon Bell. He goes no huddle. What am I in here? I, audible to cover two with a spy. Clowney spying. Clowney spying. You know, nothing really there. He checks down to the block and delay route. And if you look at his passing line above there, that's the problem. He's 6 of 7 throwing, and he's terrible. Here I'm in cover 3 cloud. He forces the corner out. Another INT. Malcolm Butler picks it off. So I'm in good shape, back on offense. And we're going to go into the Bengals' second monster set. And this is like stealing here. I mean, my God. No chance of being able to stop that. None. With how his defense was aligned. So 6 carries for 51 yards with Theo. Just a simple shallow cross here. You know, nothing fancy. See if I can punch this one in, then turn him over the next drive and get him out of there. He's not really showing much resistance at the moment. I'm 10 of 12 so far. I'm going to try to pop the inside zone, but, I get out muscled a little bit there. 4th and 1, I'm going to go for it again. I'm certain he's not going to score again. I get a little bit too cute here. I should have just thrown the quick out to Jordy Nelson. Instead, I hot rodded the wrong tight end to a drag. If that was Kelsey, he probably catches it. But, again, just one of those sloppy, rusty things. You got to get out of your system early. Here I'm in contains. He throws a UFO. The contains seems soft. I think if you really want to, you can get around them just fine. That has to be tightened up, I believe. So I'm back to spying Clowney. And Clowney actually chucks the tight end. That's very nice. But other than that, I'm in match. And my seam flat is just way too far away. He's in no position to do anything. And, as a result, he can't come down and close on that before he gets a nice little gain. Send the spy. And we're able to rattle him into doing that. 4th and 3. I kind of thought that he was going to throw a quick slant, so I had, double spies there, but he runs it and converts. I'm bringing a edge slot blitz there, gets picked up. Again, just stock blitz, nothing fancy. I've been sending 4 or, sending 3 with a spy most of the game, so wanted to change the look there a little bit. I'm going to go back to Tampa 2 with a spy. He has no idea what to do. Send him. He's just going to chuck the ball deep, and Desmond King picks it up. That's his second INT, so the passes he's thrown right at my defenders, they've picked them off. So while I'm happy with that, his completion percentage is still way too high. Like I said, he's terrible, and he's around 70%. There I get a UFO from Tyrod. Try to get Antonio Brown loose here, and we do. Catch and run. Big play there. So now what I want to do, I want to get a touchdown, but leave as little time on the clock as possible. Theoretic, we pop him, we almost get out of there. I tried to juke back out, but I got kind of caught up and, had to settle for a nice 10-yard gain. Riddick again on the HB base. Whoop, nice juke. Almost pops out. Again, the elusive finesse backs, you can use them now. This formation is one of their better ones in the playbook. In this play, I have a nice little China concept on one side and a sail on the other. I hit Kelsey there, and we're going to go back to the monster. He hasn't caught on yet. Touchdown, so we're going to go for 2. Get us up 7, and then, try to keep him from getting lucky down the field. Quick slant. That's like stealing Antonio Brown. So 14-7 lead. 2-man under. We are not going to allow any free releases inside. Remember what I showed you guys last video. Slip screen. I'm just a little bit slow getting over there. And that's just a case of getting used to or needing to get used to how the user player moves. Gonna go man under again with a spy. Again, I'm going to coverage audible to square up the corners. He assumed the inside release was going to be free on that slot. It wasn't. Man coverage again. I was anticipating Le'Veon Bell breaking in, but it's a table route. So, he gets me there. I go into cover 6. He's likely going to send guys down the seam from the inside of the positions. I'm right, so I match that myself. I have the spy obstructing, and he's forced to take that throw, which I don't mind. Close on that and make the tackle for minimal yardage, and have to burn your timeouts with the clock running. More than likely the same thing again. There's not a whole heck of a lot he can do passing-wise on this formation. Again, whatever. Tick, tick, tick. He's got to burn another timeout. Didn't get a lot of yards. Here I'm in cover 9, show 2. DeForest Buckner gets into his face, and he just throws it up for grabs. Just a complete panic throw. So I got his completion percentage down a little bit. Again, 2-man under. We're not going to allow the free release inside. That means that that little jerk route does not get automatically open. He actually has to fight for it. As a result, he just chucks it downfield again. And Desmond King gets his third INT. So he threw 4 INTs, just throwing the ball up for grabs when he didn't know what to do. So that's a good thing. Hope that never changes. Now, if we can get the coverage tighter and get it back to closer to what guys were playing at EA Play, which everyone universally loved, we got something here. So, anyway, that's my first foray. Hope you guys enjoyed. Talk to y'all later. Peace.